Morning, everybody. Sunday fun day. She's a little sporty out there today. Let's get right into your Oneida Lake fishing report. It's been a short weekend fishing wise for me. It's early again today because we're out to Carpenter's Brook Fish Hatchery. Huge thank you, huge thank you to everybody that stopped by yesterday out at the booth. I'll tell you, it was amazing. It was so great to put faces with names on the internet. Really, just thank you to everybody and all your support and your wonderful comments. And it really, Courtney and I were very moved yesterday. We had a wonderful day, and I am looking forward to today tremendously. So thank you. Let's get to the fishing here. I left the dock this morning. It was not a breath of air moving in the river. Everything was just beautiful and quiet and still. It was about 5:45 when I left the dock in the dark. Once again, by the time I got to the railroad, between the railroad bridge and the Route 11 bridge in the river, I could start feeling that little bit of groundswell, and I'm like, where is that coming from? It was still glass, not a ripple on the water. And then I made the turn underneath Route 11 and facing 81. I could feel it, and I'm like, that's weird. They were calling for a southeast wind, 5 to 10. This was out of the full east. I mean, just right full throat east, and it was 15. It was 15, all day long. It was 15. And so all of a sudden, I was just like, I don't even know where I'm going. I just started heading out into it in the dark, and boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what am I doing? Where am I going? And finally, I got tired of getting beat up. Honestly, I got just tired of that repeated. Nothing I can do about it. I don't beat my boat purposely, so I don't go fast and get up on top of the waves, which I could. But so I got about to 133. I was heading towards Wantry, and I'm like, well, it was still pitch black, so I'm like, I'll just go 5 miles an hour and graph. And I did. I went all the way into it, all the way past Wantry, and then I'll be honest with you, I was still standing up at the booth all day yesterday, a little bit of lower back talking to me this morning. I said, okay, I don't really feel like standing up and jigging and getting beat up, so I put a spinner and a Berkeley Gulp crawler on, and I put it down with a 2-ounce bottom bouncer, no bags, just pointed her downwind and let it drift. And then I messed around and cast it in front of it. I put a heavy jigging wrap on, or a moonshine shiver minnow on, and I was snapping that out here on so if I'm drifting this way, I was casting quartering down like this, and I'd go like so straight down to be 12 o'clock. I was casting it about 1, and I was fishing it all the way to 3, maybe 4, like this, and then I'd bring it back before it got involved with my spinner and bottom bouncer rig. I didn't do anything. I could have, very easily. I have many times before with that same setup. You can do 2 things 2 separate ways. Now you're drifting at about 1 mile an hour, so it's fast. You're from 1 to 4 pretty quick. It's nonstop. It's snap reel, however those hand motions go. So, but I didn't do anything. I had decent marks. I didn't have any big clusters of fish that I could really mark and go back and try and drift over. You'd see 2s and 3s. They were constant, but 2s and 3s. So I'm like, well, that's good enough. And then I saw this blue, loose blue on top of the top 5 to 7 feet, and I started, even in the dark, it was still dark. It was dawn. I could see 20-30 feet, and I got seagulls all around me just hovering off the water and then dropping down and getting back up and dropping down and getting back up, and not frenzied or anything, just in the dark. They were, and I'm assuming that light blue on the top of my fish TV was loose scattered bait, and those seagulls were just coming down and picking them one at a time. So I'm like, all right, cool. I stopped, I grabbed the stick bait, I cast a stick bait, a lipless crankbait, and a swim bait through there, and started from as soon as it hit the surface on each lure, and then every cast I'd get it all the way down to about 10 or 15, trying to come somewhere through that surface column where they were, thinking that I could get a fish feeding in there to go. It didn't happen. Okay, so I kept drifting all the way back, and at this point now I started running back with them, and again I was getting, it's like a yard sale in my boat. There's stuff everywhere because when it's rough there's not much I can do. I just have to go so I'm not going 5 miles an hour. I got to go as fast as I can go, and it just, now you're going with them and you're going boom boom, and I'm like, all right. So I said, well, I'm going to head back to the 81 bridge and I'll give that a couple drifts. I know there's fish there. They're pulling a little bit of water, so it always concentrates fish on that inside current seam, usually on the south side. I come down in there. I had my gold I1 blade bait on. By the time I got down in the sweet spot, you could see the current breaking off like this with the wind, and I got right in the edge, inside edge, but still. So I came across the main current, and the third jig, thunk, I went like that, and then it took off, and I'm thinking, smallmouth? And he come right to the surface and didn't jump and went right back down. I'm like, smallmouth. And then it was on. And he was 19 inches, 3+ pounds. I can't remember where I put my scale. Unbelievably, I cannot remember suddenly where. It's in one of my bags and somewhere. It's not where I need it, which is in the boat. I wanted to weigh him. I got a nice picture of him. I'll put it up on Instagram and Facebook. Beautiful fish. I'm like, aha, you're right where I want you to be. It was covered in weeds and floating grass, so you couldn't really get on the lee side of the current and bringing it back across, because there was big weed piles guarding it. So I tried to fish the outer main current edge, and that was the only one I got because I couldn't line up on it correctly. I could have went and anchored and fished straight down current below me. You wouldn't get quite the same action, but I could have done that. I didn't because I was running out of time. I gotta get home, shower, grab something for breakfast on the way to Carpenter's Brook, and get over there set up by 11. So that's my day. Thanks everybody. So big east wind, air temp was mid-50s this morning. Surface temp out in the main lake had dropped to 62, so that's 10 degrees in a week. So that's a pretty rapid fall, and that should start tickling these fish, walleyes and smallmouth and perch, to start doing their fall things, and to say, oh, somebody's knocking on the door, old man Winter's knocking. He sent his scout out, fall. And so 10 degrees is noticeable. So 10 degrees is a big jump, and now we're in the low 60s. So things from the mid to low 60s to the high to mid 50s. That's another big window of it's getting that time. So keep that in mind. That to me is a big deal. 10 degrees in a week. Cold nights. We got this hurricane coming up the coast. It's going to rain every day this week. We're going to have east and southeast winds hard because this is all storm residue. It'll be a little warmer, so it'll hold this temperature. I don't think we should see a drastic drop continuing, because your overnight lows are still going to be now in the high 40s, low 50s. So it won't be as drastic like the 39 we had the last couple mornings. So, but it's fall's here. You're starting to really see things change on the trees, and a lot of guys are starting to think about deer season. I even thought about getting the bow out and flinging a couple arrows in preparation for opening day, 27th if you got a tag from last year, or the 1st for everybody else for bow season. We'll see. I don't have the overwhelming drive for deer and duck and goose hunting like I used to, but I still do enjoy to get out there, and I will. I just don't know if I'll do any morning hunts this year, because or at least while the boat's still in the water. I'll still be fishing every morning. If I do hunt, it'll be in the afternoon or evening. So thanks everybody again for watching. I'll see everybody out at Carpenter's Brook today. Have a great day. Keep your tip up.